Hunters fantasized about me and sketched my figure in holy places long before the advent of civilization, when the world was enveloped in a blanket of winter. As the planet started heating up, ice melted down to form pastures. I presented my children to mankind, and the hunters turned into herdsmen. My offerings of milk, meat and blood supplied life to the human race, and as my children increased in number, it brought wealth to the herdsmen. For the early farmers, my horns were similar to the crescent moon. As the moon bull, I impregnated the earth goddess, and I died to be reincarnated every month. In primeval Egypt, I signified productivity and might, masculinity and motherly affection. My name was taken as a title by the pharaohs, trusting that my splendor and power would be bestowed upon them. I was the overflowing Nile, which rejuvenated the earth with life, and my sons toiled the land for humanity. It was presumed by the Egyptians that God Ptah descended to earth in a flash of divine lightning and was reincarnated as Apis, the black bull. I was worshipped and was treated with extravagance in this form, and when I died, I was buried with the tributes and riches of a pharaoh. I roamed the earth in the form of the sky goddess Hathor, and I bore the sun's disk between my horns. My feet represented the 4 directions on the compass. My abdomen was the sky, my skin and breasts were the stars and planets. I was the guardian of expecting women and helped them during their pains. I was the protector of the pharaoh, and my sacred milk nursed him during his childhood. I was feared by the primitive Greeks as the mighty bull which held the earth between his horns. I was the bull god of the Minoans, who dared to contest my power. My tone was the growl of the earthquake, and cities were destroyed when I shook my head in rage. In Sudan, I have a calmer facet, and I am respected by the Dinka people as their mode of existence in an arid terrain. My sons are gently nurtured and primed. The men chant hymns of thanksgiving to me for my milk, meat, and my blood. As a mark of honor for me, cows on the island of Bali are sanctified every morning with sacred water. The Balinese rejoice the reaping of the rice harvest by racing the oxen that are responsible for delivering a promising harvest. Actually, I was the front runner for the first slot in the Chinese calendar, but was stripped off the post by the rat. Hence, in the Chinese horoscope, the year of the ox comes second. I am the embodiment of the earth and the spring season for the Chinese. Bronze or stone figures of me were thrown into the rivers, hoping that I would prevent floods. And I am responsible for the symmetry of the world, as the Chinese compass comprises of 5 directions: north, south, east, west, and center, which is the direction of the ox. All over India, my daughters are considered holy by the Hindus. It is believed that more than 330 million gods and goddesses dwell within each cow. Hindus regard every gift I offer to them as holy. My milk nourishes them, my dung provides fuel, and my sons plough the land. To honor and take care of my earthy manifestations is an act of veneration in itself. It is a sin to kill me, and the killer will be doomed and become an evil spirit in his next birth. It will take 86 rebirths for the murderer to reach the glorious standing of a cow. I am the harbinger of good fortune to the isolated mountain ranges in the Austrian Alps, nourishing the villagers and guaranteeing their subsistence during the winter season. And led by the herders, when I return from the summer meadows, the people of the cities come together to greet me home in a grand celebration of Thanksgiving. very beginning of humanity, people respected me as the Falcon god, offering the reward of light to the world. In the beginning there was pandemonium everywhere, and the earth was blanketed in darkness and enveloped by the waters. I surfaced from the enclosing darkness as Horus, the falcon. At once, light beamed over the disorder, the waters retreated, and earth was given form. I was believed to be the personification of the sky by the Egyptians of ancient times. My left eye represented the moon, and my right eye the sun. I was the companion of the departed and provided defense from the evil eye. According to the Hindu religion, I am the hawk that carried the holy ambrosia of the gods to earth, permitting life to be extended and the deceased to be brought back to life. The god Vishnu rides upon me through the heavens in my avatar as the legendary Garuda bird. In this form, I fight for opposing Javanese princesses for their right over the same suitor. They call a truce after an intense clash and assent on both marrying him. Christian saints have also been helped by me. My feathers protected Saint Medard from a storm, and Saint Servatius from the blazing sun. And Adam and Eve did not age, but were changed into eagles to live on a Scottish island for eternity. I soared higher and higher and touched the heavens. Thus I began to be regarded as an emblem of St. John, the evangelist. And I would be immortal, and by rising high into the sun and then diving into the ocean, I rejuvenated my feathers and my life. As Condor, divine bird of the Incas, I glide across the skies of South America. As I helped the creator of the world, I was given the freedom to go where others could not, to make my nest at places that were out of the reach of others, and to consume whatever I found dead. When the Aztec people were nomads without a home, I emerged in front of them as a magnificent eagle resting upon a cactus, clutching a serpent in my claws and stretching my plumage to trap the beams of the rising sun. Tenochtitlan, the first of their great cities, was set up at the point where I appeared. The Knights of the Eagle were fighters held in the highest esteem by the Aztecs. Their rules dictated that they follow my example in war, my biting gaze, my courage, my screech, and my agile and rapid attack. As the eagle, I was the mark of imperial Rome. The army paraded with me at their head and set camp where I made my nest. On the death of the emperor, I sprung from his funeral pyre and transported his soul to heaven. I was also the messenger of war for the inhabitants of the Welsh mountains. My screams predicted calamity, and I whetted my beak on a stone, waiting to gorge the dead. In Greece, catching a glimpse of me was considered a good talisman, the symbol of Zeus, king of the gods. I held his lightning in my talons, resistant to its effects. The Greeks buried eagle's feathers in their lands as a symbol of my strength to guard their crops from tempests. My connection with lightning persists in the American Northwest. Recognized as the Thunderbird here, I create storms by battling my adversary, the serpent in the skies. And for the inhabitants of the plains, I am an incarnate of the Great Spirit himself, who lives deep inside at the core of the sun. Great soldiers were decorated for their valiant deeds with my wings, which emit streaks of light, bringing illumination from the skies. which incredible creature in biblical tales were these lines written? Behold Behemoth, which I made as I made you. He eats grass like an ox. Behold, his strength is in his loins, and his power in the muscles of his belly. He makes his tail stiff like a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are knit together. His bones are tubes of bronze, his limbs like bars of iron. He is the first of the works of God. Let him who made him bring near his sword. For the mountains yield food for him, where all the wild beasts play. Under the lotus plant he lies, in the cover of the reeds and in the marsh. For his shade the lotus tree covers him, the willows of the brook surround him. Behold, if the river is turbulent, he is not frightened. He is confident, though Jordan rushes against his mouth. Can one take him with hooks, or pierce his nose with a snare? This could be nobody but me. This portrayal confirms to my strength and splendor. I am Behemoth. My creation is as incredible for the Hindus. When the elemental ocean of milk was churned, I appeared as the celestial white elephant, Airavata, who is the predecessor of all other elephants. I was selected as a mount by Indra, the sky god, and it is still said that white elephants have the magical power of getting clouds. Earlier, all my children could fly freely, but a holy hermit cursed them for upsetting his teachings. Now they dwell on land, serving the desires of the humans. As a mount for the gods, I am now the bearer of the mortal embodiments of the celestials, the Maharajas and the kings. All through history, my knowledge and power has been used by humans for their own needs. Armies through time have utilized my services in triumphing over their enemies. Soldiers would bless me before leaving for the battlefield in order to guarantee success in war. Images carved at holy places display the valor of my children, who were used as vital weapons during wars. The world is viewed by the Buddhists in a more peaceful and serene manner. Legend has it that Buddha was born after his mother had a dream where she saw him coming down from heaven and entering her womb in the form of a white elephant. Ever since, Buddhists hold my children in high regard. They guard the sacred pagodas built as a sign of spiritual realization of Buddha. When young Buddhists renounce worldly pleasures and accept the saffron robes of devotion, they are carried on the backs of my children on this very significant voyage. take these beginners to their monastery, bringing elegance and good luck to the procession. But before entering the cloister, the procession encircles it 3 times, a number of divine importance. After his death, Buddha's remains were spread across the lands where he preached, and it was only I who was considered meritorious enough to perform this sacred mission. In Sri Lanka today, the annual Candi Perahera relives this episode in the form of a performance, as a chest carrying the holy tooth of Buddha is marched through the streets. Conquering every obstacle and making my way through the thickest jungle, I am worshipped as the elephant-headed god, Ganesh, in the Hindu religion. There are numerous legends relating to my birth. One of them is as follows. Lord Shiva's wife, Parvati, created a son from her body's dirt and ordered him to keep vigil as she bathed. When Shiva, the destroyer, came back and found a stranger blocking his way, he was angry and beheaded the boy by turning his third eye on him. Parvati was so distressed that Shiva ordered his men to find a head to replace the severed one. They found an elephant, and that is how Ganesh came into being. Today, the idols of this very famous god drink from the holy Ganges as pilgrims take a holy dip for the atonement of their sins. As a god that removes all impediments, people offer prayers to Ganesh every day and seek his blessings before starting anything anew. I have become the champion of knowledge and the harbinger of good luck. As for Shiva, well, when people congregate to venerate him, it is hardly a surprise that my children are the sentinels chosen to bear his image and stand guard in front of his temple. I am the gift of God, Atta Allah, for the Bedouins of Arabia. I carried the Magi, the 3 wise men, on my back, following a star to the baby Jesus. I'm a mark of good fortune in the desert, and if I gave birth to 10 children, I will become holy. From the Sahara to Asia, I live in the most unfavorable conditions. The hump on my back is a storage of fat, helping me sustain without water for up to 2 weeks. Eating whatever little vegetation is available, I can survive days without meals. With such forbearance towards adversity, I am the warrior mount of the sands, enabling armies to invade impassable cities. Spanning from Jordan to India, my position of honor in the desert armies remains strong throughout the world. Devoted Muslims regard me with great favor. As a youth, Prophet Muhammad dwelled in the holy city of Mecca and was well known for his skills as a herder. When compelled to run away from the city years later, it was his beloved camel, Al-Qaswa, who carried him away. When they were out of danger, Al-Qaswa knelt down. Muhammad considered this as a sign from God and stayed at that place for 4 days. Today, the mosque at Aqaba is situated at the very place where Al-Qaswa knelt. Al-Adha, the fastest of all Muhammad's camels, is fabled to have carried the Prophet from Jerusalem to Mecca in just 4 steps. Maybe, as a tribute to that feat, my daughters race over the sands in Dubai. My image carved on a cup is their reward. The race is so reputed that the swiftest of my children are treated with royal accord. I am coddled by the attendants in pools with the most priceless of desert's things, water. Wherever I have traveled on this earth, my life has become interlinked with the people who live there. Up in the Andes of South America, I have taken the shape of llama. Whenever there is a marriage in the town, my children are invited as privileged guests of the native Quechua Indians. There is high enthusiasm, and refusals are not kindly taken to as they celebrate the upcoming wedding. For centuries, a renowned fair is held in a dusty Indian desert town in my honor. This is Pushkar. Devotees have come to offer prayers at the nearby holy lake. Most of the people have walked weeks to reach here, but their main aim is to buy and sell camels. Every child of mine is showed at their finest. With coats cut and trimmed, they display the latest bridal wear. My bones are buried by some superstitious people under their homes to ward off ghosts. I provide much more to those without homes. Milk, wool, and meat are what I offer. But most importantly, I am their carrier, the ship that takes my masters across the oceans of desert. Bactrian camels, one amongst my own children opened up the Silk Road and helped in bringing the wonders of the East to Europe. And in lands where the scorching sun makes salt integral for life, it is I who makes living feasible. Under vacant skies, caravans are formed by my children to trade the salt paths of the Sahara. Their associates in this old union are Tuareg tribesmen. Journeying from one corner of the desert to another, backs are weighed down with food and a prized cargo of salt, but seldom the last straw. Water conveyed is not to quench the thirst of the camel, but of the men. My children could only drink when they reach a well. It's only then the Tuareg pay back the debt owed to the camels. I am a part of each facet of Tuareg life, but most during a courtship. In this infertile land, the choice of a partner rests with the Tuareg women. So if a warrior is to charm a wife, then he and I must be clad in our very best. Amongst the first children of earth, I fly to her highest heavens, plunge into her deepest valleys, and pass above her large oceans. My voice converses with the spirits and predicts the future. I bring new seasons upon many lands. A dove is what I am. My delicate courtship dance symbolizes the chaste arrival of the spring, and as the stork, I proclaim the advent of new life. I brought about the creation of whole new worlds. I am the raven, and people in the northern land of Canada consider me the god of their wooded empire. They hold high respect for me for this creation and for the help I showered on humanity. I selected a warrior of the Haida tribe as my mate. After several escapades together, I opened the gates for him and his people to hunt on my land. They celebrate my gift every winter. I bestow upon all who seek new pastures. The Zuni people of New Mexico speak of how I came to Kiatlo's help, their custodian of myths, to get a new home. The sightless Kiatlo wasn't able to find his way out of the wilderness. His lips appealed for help, his voice a dwindling cry. His cry was heard by me, and I made him a part of my flock, turning him into a white goose. He flew together with us to the Whispering Water, a nice place where he founded the pueblo of his nomadic people. But I can offer darkness and even light, augur death after gifts of life. As the raven, people know me as the forerunner of doom. I am the Celtic war goddess, Bada, who ushers in death and consumes corpses on human battlefields. Flying above northern lands, I see the dead and the dying. I, an angel of the dark, feast on humans as well as beasts. I am in all places where lost souls can be found. I have intersected the course of mariners. Sea people say I take the souls of their mates across the oceans as the seagull. I am the image of spiritual elevation to the other world for them. I soar like no other. Mounting the highest heavens, I sit in the assembly of gods. Meager mortals like Icarus will forever fail to emulate my gift of flight. I fly around the world in many forms. In Eastern temples, I'm idolized as the water bird, a form once taken by Buddha. In this form, I cross many lands, my mighty wings continuously renewing the life cycles, from old to new life. Akin to Buddha's delight in regeneration, because of me, the circle of life is celebrated. One of the oldest tales of my regeneration is also my most supreme. The early Egyptians narrated the story of a splendid bird that made a nest of pure myrrh every 500 years. The nest turned into a funeral pyre, devouring my old body. I was born again from the ashes to carry on my life as the phoenix. Buddha commanded that no animal should be in bonds. Hence, as a deed of worship, the dutiful seek merit by setting me free to fill the skies. People traversed the unexplored seas, looking for new lands to inhabit. A mark for land ahead, I became a welcome escort for voyagers reaching out across the Pacific. In the Marquesas Islands, my courtship dance as the tropic bird signified the assurance of new life. And paying tribute to me with song and dance, the islanders celebrated their unharmed arrival and newly discovered freedom. Even with all their elegance and the feathers that adorn them, these creatures will never fly like a bird. Around campfires, people talk nervously of a creature of the night, baffling and detached, a marauder of darkness. Either beneath the stars of an African night or in your own home, my name is well known in allegories and folk tales. Although I have in the past been treated like a toy by humans, my heritage is evil, sad, but at times enchanting. In modern Europe, people mark my lore and gifts with processions. I'm an animal of good luck and fertility, and also of malevolent magic and evil. In Ypres, Belgians remember the days when I was considered the evidence of the fiend. Toys now undergo fake executions where at one time my living kin were victimized. But it was not always the case. I have long roamed the cities and streets of the Middle East, living closely with people, giving comfort and consolation to the forlorn. People of all faiths have given in to my charms. But I have been prey to ignorance and prejudice too. When the Knights Templar arrived from the Crusades, most of them were charged with sacrilege and admitted to worshipping black cats. Throughout history, I have been regarded as the accomplice of devils and occultists. Throughout time I have been ill-treated, although my only offence was to be a companion to lonely women. In earlier days, such women were regarded as witches, and I was considered accompanying evil. Like them, most of my sort were put on trial and awarded a death sentence for witchcraft. Still, my soul always re-emerges to be worshipped by others. I lurk the forests of Central America, where at one point the Olmec people worshipped my jaguar form, sculpting my features onto their statues. I flourished as the jaguar god, but my worshippers lost popularity. Still, my jaguar manifestation survives amid the Olmec and the Mayan peoples. Their progenies, Mexican farmers, are familiar with my power and are afraid of me. At the festival of San Miguel, they dance for a flourishing harvest, and I, the jaguar, am the evil from which the harvest must be protected. With modern rifles and age-old traditions, they try to drive me back to my area. I have been respected and feared, domesticated and worshipped, my image placed in stone. There was a time when I was free, but the ancient Egyptians tried to curb my wild spirit. I was regarded so highly that I adorned the walls of the pharaohs' tombs, and my death received a royal burial. For I was the deity of fertility, Bastet. Every year, thousands of women came from all over Egypt for my blessing. I was the regular companion to women, marked in song for my gift of fertility. Buddhist monks believe my composed appearance and relaxed lifestyle reflect the inner peace that lies at the core of their faith. As the Siamese cat, I am associated with the soul of the Thai nation. When the king expires, it is I who will take his spirit into the next world. I am a creature of paradox. I bring fortune, good and bad. Many ancient books depict my different appearances. As a fortunate cat, I have led many people to safety. In one of the temples, I am worshipped as the rescuer of a group of traveling combatant noblemen. I directed them and saved them from a terrifying thunderstorm. When a cat is missing, people make donations in my temple for a safe homecoming. Across the globe and down the ages, I have been worshipped and despised, but I rather consider myself as a force for good. I am Cora, the grey cat, who brings good luck for these farmers. When the earth and the crops despair for rainfall, they take me in procession via the village to the well. Here they reenact an ancient rite. They pour precious water tenderly on my rain cloud fur and plead of me, ancient creature and sign of fertility, to bring the rains. In Islam, it is believed that I was formed by Allah with a handful of the southern wind. He termed me Arab. Graciousness was clipped to my forelock, and treasures came from the power of my back. I was to be regarded supreme among all animals, the king of them all. The early Greeks called me Equus and presumed that I was the reward of Poseidon, god of the sea. His chariot was drawn by horses under the tides, and the winged horse, Pegasus, was born from his union with Medusa. Poseidon presented me to the Athenians, an incarnation of elegance and swiftness. I had the authority and liberty to wander across the earth. The mountains of the age-old Celtic lands have been embellished with figures in my reverence. I was once the horse of the sun god and was under the protection of Epona, the goddess of fertility. I had a distinctive place among the Celtic gods. My might endured the Roman invasion, and I was awarded my own festival. In honor of the traditions of spring, every May, people clad in my appearance dance before a figure of productivity. If I take a damsel, she shall bear a child within a year. Such is the power of my offering. I am linked with fertility in a distinct way in the villages of southern India. The natives of Tamil Nadu narrate how water and clay infuse with the seed of god Shiva, giving rise to Lord Ayanar, the mighty guardian. The water and clay of his origins are now considered holy. Each year the village priest and the potter design frames in my image as offerings. The silent mud horses wait in anticipation as the parade approaches the open-air shrine. Always vigilant, they listen and await Ayanar's call. Lord Ayanar gallops across the fields in return for his steeds and guards the village from evil. My elegance and pace have been utilized for war all around the world. My back is a seat for highborns, and my presence a foreboding for battle. Majestic and thunderous charges, my brood have taken warriors to battlefields throughout the planet. And at the appropriate time for the end of the world, the Bible predicts that 4 of my sons will gallop out at the apocalypse, carrying famine, plague, war, and death. Deep within the Asian steppes resides a tribe most renowned for its warring tradition. This is a deserted land where the wandering Mongols banked upon my offspring for transport and for war. With an exceptionally gifted cavalry, the Mongols conquered great parts of the recognized world. The power of the bond between human and horse was supreme. All adversaries in their way were vanquished. A prehistoric forerunner of polo, buzkashi was played by fighters in celebration of their triumphs on the battlefield, using the corpses of their enemies. Today, customs substitute war, and the dead sheep substitutes the body of the defeated foe. The best fighters and the fastest of my children contest with valor and resilience in pursuit of the day's glory. A grander glory is on offer every year in Siena, Italy. Inside the walled city, 10 communities prepare themselves for a great event. One of my brood symbolizes each one of them. Clad in hues of the contrade, the reward of one god is welcomed into the abode of another to be consecrated.
Per la gloriosa contrada dell'onda, per il suo tripudio, per la sua gioia. Vai e torna! Piano, piano! Titi!
The pride of the people will depend on my strong back as I gear up to compete in this passionate contest which has become Il Palio. The winner among these beautiful children of mine will be honored, and the splendor of the province will be theirs. I dwelled in the woods of Europe, taking the form of a wild boar to rule the jungle. My huge size made me unbeatable, the king of all beasts, an animal of which many were scared. I was the great rival for others with whom they could fight. Since Roman times, I have represented strength, brutality, and valor. To have me was to have my power. I was embraced by the Celts as a symbol of war. My ferociousness epitomized their fighting spirit. I was divine to them, an animal god. To others, my presence in the forest meant pure evil. As I am cloven-hooved and I don't chew the food, Judaism and Islam consider me impure. Christianity has inflicted its share of insults. Raw by nature, I was regarded as the personification of the deadly sins of the flesh. The sow was represented as a sign of gluttony, and the boar, a figure of lust. To the olden Egyptians, I was more pathetic. They considered me to be an evil beast, and I turned sacred to Set, the god of evil. Others think that I bear the sign of the devil. To them, I am Satan himself. It is still considered in the legends of Welsh that on Halloween I materialize by magic. The piglets, the earliest ones born in the wild woods of Europe, were believed to be an augury of spring. People all over the world offered me the power of fertility. I was considered holy to the corn goddess Demeter in ancient Greece. I am Varaha, the third incarnation of Vishnu for the Hindus. It was I who dived into the depths of the cosmic waters when I saw a lotus leaf floating on it. There I discovered the earth and brought it above, creating the world. A swimming pig? Certainly as imaginable as one that can fly. My children have a very special place in the hearts of people till this day. Like gladiators in front of the emperor, the prospective heroes are cared for and treated like gods. My body is regarded as the currency of wealth in many cultures. I became only the property of the chiefs of nomadic Polynesians, and it was forbidden for others to eat my flesh. It was I and my children who accompanied them in their voyage from Asia across the Pacific. land came in sight, it was I who would enable them to settle. Wherever I went, I was sought after by hunters, some for sports, others for means of livelihood. The Hagarai people of Papua New Guinea burn grass circles, aided by their dogs to fetch my children. Those caught will be taken home, treated as family, and will enjoy a pampered life. The Huli tribes in the same land have bonded more tightly. Here my children are reared and live in the communal house of women, forging a relationship as deep as that of a mother and child. These tribesmen take care of all my needs. When it's time to raise a family, they help in building me a nest. The Huli take us to their gardens. We dig up for earthworms and tidbits, while they have the advantage of a living plough. My children, like living piggy banks, gather wealth for them, acting as their prime investment. But as it is with all investments, time does come for the return. Battle has taken place between two tribes where many warriors have laid their lives. The enemy demand compensation or they'll strike back. My children's bodies will act as checks on which their debts will be cleared. Compensation is cautiously counted on a neutral land. If satisfied, enemy warriors dash in to take their newly earned fortune away. These payment ceremonies not only settle disputes, but also make a good reason for a feast. And feasting is something I know everything about. In sync with the forces of darkness, compatible with the force of insight way beyond your thoughts. unaccompanied or in groups. I am a creature who will inflict disaster, plague, and death. My initial stages were humble and benign. In the heat of the summer, along the holy rivers of the Nile, I appeared from the mud of the riverbank. From the earth where all life begins, I emerged as a god. As a mark of respect, a temple at Teredos was constructed. I had come into the world of people. I was endowed with prudent judgment and could predict the future. I hoarded for bad times ahead, amassing my food store for difficult times to come. I always picked the finest corn and the very best grain with which to feed upon. In another way, I brought signs of riches and luck to the ancient Romans. But sadly for the dormice, my cousin, culinary tastes weighed against them. But for simple mortals, I was more than a foodstuff. In early Greece, I was a cohort to the gods. As the mouse god, Smintheos, I was picked by Apollo as food for his serpents. Such a bond with divinity is still recognized by Hindus. In a place where most of the creatures are worshipped, I assumed a new role. My prudence and knowledge meant that Ganesh, the elephant-headed god of wisdom, wealth, and booming venture, picked me as his transporter. I consumed everything that was offered, eating everything I could devour, so that my population grew considerably. And with the population increasing every day, my horde spread all over the world to every jungle and building. Even today, my babies can throng in every fissure. My ability to gnaw meant that opponents of early tribes were beaten. Writers talk of my strength to nibble through the leather shell and arms of the Philistine forces of the Middle East. But it was in the western lands of Europe that my terror was strongest. On my back, I carried a creature of venom and bubonic infection. Sweeping from all over the Asian plains, I was to inflict death and devastation. 1/3 of the population perished. Battle and death followed me, and people believed it was the end of the world. They attempted to retaliate in any possible way. Many efforts were made to wipe me out. All of them were unsuccessful. Today, in Germany, people celebrate the occasion when I plagued the flourishing Hamelin town. A mercenary piper was appointed to free the town of my sons and daughters. His tune attracted them from every corner of the town. But then he took the children too. From city to sea, I still have omnipresent powers that instill fear in people. I have travelled the four corners of the world, and sailors everywhere see signs of doom in my deeds. If I were to leave a ship before its departure, it was a sure sign that the journey would end in disaster. The ship and everybody on board would die. In the eyes of the Christian Church, I have always been regarded as an omen of devastation. Even in the most serene places, my evil has spread. As an avatar of the devil, I devoured in Eden's garden, gnawing on the roots of the tree of life itself, and stealing the garden's fruits. I have the strength to take everything. I have had many foods in many places. To the tribes of the American West, I have gnawed more than just food, and in so doing, I have exposed my biggest strength and the frailty of others. Who else could consume the moon? At night, Hindus of Rajasthan worship the deity Karniji. Here, in their nightly ritual, they revere her and her kin. These are members of her family, born again as rats. So we are welcomed, invited to take part in the ritual as members of the family. Here, I have become the tiny creature that sits in the company of prominence. When the rest of the world was still evolving, I was worshipped by the ancient Egyptians. In the shape of a noble baboon, I became the earthly incarnation of Thoth, the sacred god. I was a scholar and writer, the godly creator of speech, and it was through my words alone that the entire world was created. Knowledge and magic were in my gift. I was there at the entrance of the underworld, weighing the hearts of the people long gone and against the feather of truth. And for those found wanting, it was I who led the evil to their punishment. Stories about my monkey intelligence reached Africa and beyond. According to a tale in Swahili folklore, I befriended a shark who, in return, offered to take me to his king. Although I smelled a trap, I agreed unwillingly. During our journey, he told me that his king was unwell and he needed to eat my heart to survive. I responded by saying that I had left my heart on the tree, so we had to head back to get it. Safe on shore, I laughed at how I had fooled the shark. So people even today think that I'm scared of water, but not every time things are what they appear to be. For some, I am a clever old monkey, but for others, I am just good to be made fun of. My hanging nose and pot belly are ridiculed in Indonesia. The proboscis monkey is known as Dutchman. While in the rainforests of Brazil, the red-faced Ukari is mocked as an Englishman. Legends of the Mayan world speak of a time before the present world came into being, when humans were created as wooden mannequins by the gods. Though they looked human and also spoke so, they turned a blind eye towards their creators. The earliest humans were annihilated and overthrown amid turmoil and upheaval. The monkeys that are their last trace live high up in the forest canopy, and some are still challenging their fall from grace. Up in the tallest trees and on the largest mountains, I dwell between heaven and earth. Here I have changed into an ambassador of the gods. At these places, Shinto priests leave their offerings to the spirits. I arrive to listen to their prayers. And as it suits a holy messenger, I pass on their choicest gifts. I safeguard the sacred shrines from evil influences in Japan. My name is used as a warning. I am not like mortals. My mind is chaste, untarnished by the evil that others see, hear, and speak. Throughout India, I am worshipped and admired. My devotees bring extravagant offerings to my temples, but with so many temptations before me, I may forget about my sacred status sometimes. Even I may occasionally surrender to become a cheeky monkey. So how was such a high position bestowed upon me? And why have I been granted the freedom of the cities? The answer is found in the legend of Hanuman, a divine monkey king. In the eternal conflict between good and evil, I, Hanuman, sided with the good, and the ancient carvings are proof of my courageous deeds. Once an evil king abducted the gorgeous wife of Lord Rama and kept her against her wish. I was the one who discovered her. With the aid of my monkey army, I attacked the city. And after a monumental battle, the evil king Ravana was killed. After that, when Rama and his wife Sita reunited, the people celebrated. For my service, I asked no reward, and because of this, I became an everlasting symbol of kindness. It is still believed that I cry for others, not for myself. Even today, I am the holy protector of all villages. My revered army is welcomed in all places, a symbol of divine favor, safeguarders of cattle and crops. And annually, from India to Bali, monkey voices ring out in jubilation and in tribute to my bravery.
I have someone coming in later. A customer I haven't seen before. He wants some spider potions or something. He wasn't very clear. I really should try and make this place a bit tidier before he gets here. This isn't supposed to be here. This should be locked away. This is one of the most powerful things I have. Inside this is part of a great witch Motalan. It comes from one of the strangest stories of wizard history. Now, wizards generally employ owls in sending messages, but when Motalan attempted to mobilize an army to conquer the magic world, she used some everyday animals. She used bugs. Wizards hardly keep a tab on what bugs do, thus nobody saw they were conveying Motalan's message. That the animals who go in with them would achieve magical powers, such as the skill to endure fire, or produce acid that would burn the skin of a wizard. Motalan's devilish designs effectively started to spread when the caterpillars joined ranks with her. As when animals learnt about the prospect of gaining magical powers from her, they rapidly spread the news. Promptly, several caterpillars started off to persuade others to join ranks with her. Then, she cast magic on the moths and butterflies. Thus, they also turned into messengers and conveyed the word up there in the canopy of the jungles. Motalan's militia started to swell. But as her supporters started to throng, the noble wizards understood what her designs were, and to end the progress of her militia, they asked for the spiders' aid. Because the spiders were capable of setting traps across the forests. Traps which are impeccable to trap moth messengers. The spiders halted her flying creatures, but the noble wizards also required to hold her ground force back, and requested the spiders to mobilize an army of ants. It was very soon as Motalan's army had to watch out. Several of them perished under attack. Motalan understood she wouldn't be able to earn a victory with the spiders against her, so she masqueraded as one of them. But true spiders have very sharp eyesight and could spot her disguise. They pressed the alarm bell, and there was no fleeing now. The noble wizards went in and amputated all her legs to put an end to all her evil designs once and for all. And all 8 legs are kept separately. I am proud to be one of the guardians, which is quite a responsibility. If all 8 legs were reunited, she could rise up and start causing trouble again. I should stay more vigilant, particularly if strangers are around, asking for spider parts. My old school chest. Good grief! To think I used to have to wear one of these. Ah, My school reports. Inside these bottles are my teacher's remarks.
He really must try harder, and his homework is a disgrace.
Well, yes, that must be potions.
An appalling year's work.
Now, this one should be better.
An excellent pupil.
Ah, yes, human studies. The magical folk tend not to have much to do with the straight human types, but having some idea of what the humans do is part of the final year exams. As expected, I had left it all to the 11th hour. I had to do a report on human beings, so I sought the help of the animals. Rats can lurk around cities far more easily than wizards. The blue penguins also enrolled themselves. And a group of raccoons consented to aid. The rats sneaked in human houses and sent back reports on what they loved to have. My school was happy to get this very handy piece of information, as wizards sometimes mingle with human beings. They look so unfitting when they don't even know what the humans eat. More such reports on food came from the raccoons, since the human beings waste so much of their food. These reports were handy, but I asked my informers to be on guard for any outlandish human behavior. When the blue penguin informed me about dancing people, I could not stop myself from adding a tiny magic spell. To stick their dancing for a while, I tried a couple of speeds. That amused the penguins in a big way. And they even tried emulating them. But I had to find out something about human beings which wizards were not aware of much. Such as what they did in those enormous city towers. And the simplest way was to seek the help of the peregrine falcons. They are adept in finding the perfect place to watch human beings. They informed me that the human beings are ruled by computers, which would be useful for the wizards, as by fiddling with these machines, wizards can influence their world. Other towers were filled up with books. As they were not magic books, I sent in the spider beetle, just to be a little naughty. He devoured an impeccably straight line through more than 20 books. It was well worth the effort to see the total bewilderment on the faces of the human beings. So I finished my one good report with the animals' help, and the penguins did remind me to unstick the humans. That's all such a long time ago. I rarely inquire about what the human types are up to now, but if I ever needed to, I should know whom to ask. I wonder. Now, which one is it? The lightning one. Fine.
but not what I'm looking for. The laughing one, a ridiculous invention. Now yes, this is what I was looking for. I have someone coming in later on who needs to borrow this for a while. I made this one for my nephew, who came to me when he realized he was colorblind, which meant the products of his spells were always black. Actually, it was true that every spell ingredient he produced was black. Therefore, to add some tint to his life, I chose to make a color wand for him. In this stick, I put in the most glaring colors. And when the wand was all set, I sent him off for preparation, with firm orders to practice only one color at a time, beginning with orange. I was stunned in the beginning with his orange designs, but he didn't pay heed to the orders. He was bored of producing only orange and chose to try greens, purples, and pinks. Ugh, his sense of color was so very wrong. I had asked him to concentrate on only one color at a time to avoid this kind of idiocy with color. I had to make him realize his folly and put an end to his fun. Therefore, I switched the lights off. But he signaled with his wand in the dark, and sparks from the wand caused weird creatures to sparkle and shine. He even came across the fact that he was capable of producing sparks from his wand, which started to glow if a fish gobbled it up. Enthused about his new colors, he departed from the sea and tinted the very first beetle he came across, making it glow like the waterborne fish. And at that night, he furthered his objective by producing more shining beetles, till the fields dazzled with his ingenuity. He knew for sure that I would get to know what naughtiness he was involved in, but I didn't get the chance to prevent him from trying out the color wand on the green chameleons. They grumbled about their new colors, but he gradually began to get accustomed to the idea. And they even thought the new appearance was very amusing. But the newly coloured chameleons began to mock the normal ones, jeering at how insipid they seemed. Thus, the games of my nephew had to come to an end. He returned the wand to me, and it does come in quite handy for adding a little colour to one's life. I really must sort this place out. If someone comes in asking for a dog bark remover, then it takes me an age to find anything. Well, now this is something I haven't seen for ages. I wonder if it still works. Regalion!
Mugwall, what are you doing here? Oh, Regalion's busy, is he? Oh well, I guess you'll do. This, my little friend, is known as a spirit ball. When I place it next to you, it reveals the history of your spirit. Ah, yes, wolves, obviously. Your dog's soul recalls its wilder past. Regardless of the different shapes you dogs have assumed, wolves are your ancestors. Your soul can recall how it moved in a pack. Oh, now what is that we have here? Well, is that human beings I notice? Mugwall, you must be a mixed breed because you possess the spirit of the human dogs inside you. Human beings have taken note of the abilities you dogs have and made use of your natural qualities to their benefit. Where now? You possess natural as well as human traits. Let's find out. Ah, of course, the hunting talents of your predecessors. The wolf side of your nature can take down prey much bigger in size than itself. And they encircle the much more feeble animals before killing it. Oh, the human side of yours? Recalling the wolf methods. The human dogs possess similar skills. Mutually they work to gather around the cattle, but they have lost their wild instincts because they hunt no more. In its place, they adhere to what the humans do. Come again. Wolves in a pack. I understand. Human beings are now a part of your pack. Not at all surprising, I suppose, because the spirit of the dog was not meant to run by itself, but to cohabit with a boss to control you. But now what idiocy is this? Running trapped in chains? With human beings the head of their pack, there are dogs that will always prefer running in chains? Mugwall, you need to be cautious of this human side of yours. These dogs have permitted their wild side to be controlled. The voice of your spirit. With time, your voice might have undergone some changes, but even now you are familiar with the howls of your predecessor. Now this truly should set an example for you, Mugwall. A mixed breed like you should stick to your wild side and beware of getting affected by human dogs. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I really don't understand what's happening. We must be picking up some act of intrusion from nearby. Mugwall, wake up, you mutt. The spirit ball is picking up your dreams. After all I've told you, poodles, really, of all the things. Snakeskin! Snakeskin! Wizards are always asking for snakeskin. What? I don't think this is snakeskin. Now I wonder. Hey, it is. It really is. Ah, my old piece of dragon skin. dragons were responsible for a baffling human problem we once faced. The magic world prefers to exist far away from the one humans live in. We hardly know anything related to the human world and their beliefs. However, what we do know is for humans, dragons don't exist. They believe that these lizards are the only creatures they have come across who have dragon-like features. And how do we know about it? Well, actually, it all originates from a trouble my Uncle Zachary once caused. He was the most famous and the best dragon tamer ever. The forest saw him training several kinds, and he held them away from sight. However, the smoky dragon breaths covered the forest, and as their numbers increased, the columns of smoke floated far and caught human attention. Zach believed that his dragons were well concealed, but the wizards who kept a watch on the human world informed him that pictures of dragons had materialized there. Zach was compelled to leave. The dragon's smoky breath was cleared from the forest. However, he left some behind inadvertently. Stories poured in of further pictures of abandoned dragons attacking humans, and a number of courageous humans beginning to fight back.
But this madness of humans fighting dragons couldn't go on. Shame. But it really doesn't do to let the human and magic world mix.
Hence, the wandering dragons were captured and taken out from the human world. Nevertheless, it was because of Zach that humans saw dragons, so it was his responsibility now to make humans believe that they never saw actual dragons. He cast a confusion spell, a magic he put on creatures that resembled dragons. On the crocodiles, for they had skins similar to dragons. Thus, when humans encountered these animals, they thought that it was these creatures that were responsible for the problems. And they had never encountered an actual dragon with its smoky breath. The monitor lizards have a forked tongue similar to dragons, and so the humans thought that it must have been these animals they had come across. The spell worked its magic so well that the humans named one of them after a dragon. The Komodo dragon. It is perhaps the only creature which is so close in resemblance to the real one. And they have been reported to ambush humans in times before. Luckily for Zach, the spell worked, and human memory soon got erased of the fact that they had seen actual dragons. As far as we're concerned, we learnt from my Uncle Zach's blunders. We now make it a point that if humans witness anything they should not, we wash away their memory of that episode. So that nothing like this happens again. For Zach, well, people say that he stopped domesticating dragons. However, when I was a kid, he sent me this piece of skin
From his favorite dragon, the Western Blue. So I'm sure he's still out there somewhere. Ah, yes. Dragons never lose their spark.